How much money do you really need to live in Lagos, Nigeria? Like, what is the actual cost of living in Lagos, Nigeria? I'm sure the price of fuel in Nigeria is very cheap. As a matter of fact, when I came to Lagos, Nigeria, we used to pay like an equivalent of 33 Kenya shillings per liter. Hi, how are you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time to see me, my name is Rachel Patrick and I live in Lagos, Nigeria with my family. We came here in 2022 and I feel like there is important information missing out there, especially for people or persons who want to move to Lagos, Nigeria to be specific. But I believe that the stats of one state might or may not be applicable to the other states that you might also want to be moving to. So in Nigeria, there are just a few things, just like any other country that you want to go to. Maybe you want to go to America, to Canada, you want to go to Kenya, you want to go to South Africa, you want to go to Uganda. There are certain aspects of life that you need to know before you move into any foreign country. Or if maybe you've lived in the UK and you want, or you lived in America, or you lived in Kenya and you want to come back home, then I feel like this information is important to you. First thing first, I want you to know that rent, my dear, rent is paid annually. And I feel like that's a little bit expensive, especially if you're coming here on a contract. So I was saying, I need you to be very much aware that you're going to be paying rent annually. There's some people who ask for rent every 2 years, and there's something we call a diesel deposit in every amount of rent that you pay. So there's, like, when you talk to your agent, they will tell you these things. So they will ask you to pay for the rent, and then you're also going to give a diesel deposit. A diesel deposit is necessary for electricity within the estate, especially during times when we don't have the national electricity, because most of the time sometimes it can just decide to be issues, or maybe you find just small issues. Anyway, you are familiar with the electricity issues here, so you need to be ready for bills, especially bills to do with diesel is a little bit pricey here because I believe it's a necessary commodity, so people tend to price it higher, you know, demand and supply. You're going to pay a different deposit for diesel, and you're also going to pay a deposit for rent. So you might check online, and maybe the average maybe rent for a 2-bedroom house, a very good place, which is safe, security is good, everything. Say for example, Lekki Phase 1, you go there, you find a nice 2-bedroom apartment will be rent maybe 7 million all in plus diesel. You pay about 8 million or 9 million. I'm speaking about somewhere where they're offering good clean water, all those blah blah blah, but I'll mention them. So when you're looking for a house, you need to factor in all these things. Diesel, you need to factor the agency fee, which is more or less about 10% of the fee. I was saying the diesel deposit should be a point of focus. It's paid yearly. There's something they call caution fee, and then there is some small amounts. So sometimes you might pay, say you paid rent is 7 million, you go to diesel, someone will tell you, okay, diesel, now you have to pay another 7 million. It depends. There are places where they tell you if you pay 7 million, you're not going to have any issues with electricity. You're going to have gen on 24 hours in a day. But for where I live, we do not have generator on 24 hours in a day. But there is an option for you to go solar. So you can buy some nice lithium batteries and solar panels, and then you install them, or you can talk to your landlord / whoever you're dealing with, so that they can provide you with maybe grills, and then you get the batteries, so that when you move, you can move with your batteries. Just whichever way, anything that works for you guys will be okay. So rent, if you're looking for a decent 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom, budget with up between 7 to 10 million thereabouts. In the island, in the mainland, rent is relatively cheaper. You might get a place going for 4 million or 5 million in a year. That was then. I do not know about now, because as you know, some of these things are highly affected by the exchange rate. There are some guys who will tell you, oh, actually you're going to pay me in dollars. I prefer you pay me in dollars instead of you giving me naira, because the currency is actually very unstable. It's highly, chances are that you might be house hunting today, you're looking for a house today, the rate is like 1650, for example, $1 1650 naira, then tomorrow by the time you come it's jumped to 1800. So trust me, they are going to want you to pay for some of these fluctuations, but if you are lucky, you get someone who is understanding, they are going to allow you to pay the fee as it is. So the fee you see online may or may not be what will be the final fee. So there are areas where you can live, the good suburbs to live here in Lagos Island. You can live in Lekki phase 1, you can also live in VI, you can also live in Ikoyi, which is relatively expensive. For you to get like a 3-bedroom 4-bedroom in Ikoyi, if you have a family, you are likely to pay up until 20 million per 20 million naira per year, or 25, or even some go as high as 30. Some it's apartments which are rented for these crazy amounts of money. And the most expensive places of all is the Banana Island, which is very expensive for a 3-bedroom apartment, because I know 2 bedrooms are not easy to find. For a 3-bedroom apartment, you might pay for the 30 million or 35. It's a little bit expensive, but the good thing is the place is highly guarded, and there's security. You have like code at the gate, so whenever you want to come inside the estate, you have to get a code from the person living inside here, and then now they will allow you to either come in, or yeah, depending on that. And the code is only generated once, so there's chances that it's safe. They have good schools within the estate, they have everything in those places. So you can look at Banana, you can look at Ikoyi, you can look at Victoria Island, Oniru, you can look at Lekki phase 1, and you can also go as far as Osapa London. It's not far. You can go to Chevron, you can go all the way to Aja. They also have pretty good, beautiful houses, and I feel like rent is slightly on the lower end over there. I hope you are clear about rent in Lagos, Nigeria. So it depends, but what I know is properties, you know, they continue valuing the properties high because of the value of the land, never downwards. So prepare yourself. If you have a family, a 3-bedroom, prepare yourself to have at least 10 million, yeah, right over there, for you to live in a good place in Lagos Island. And then again, there's the issue of water. All these things are tied together with rent. So wherever you're going to live, remember, you're going to need clean water. There's a problem, especially in the island, the water is not clean. So ask whoever is going to be renting this property to you, or if you're buying, ask about the water plant there, and if it's treated, and you make sure you see it, because some of the water might be green, so you won't be cooking with that water. You cannot even use it to brush your teeth. I thank God that where I live, we have our own plant. We have our own plant for water, so the water is treated and it's clean. That's what we use to brush, that's what we use to cook. I only buy dispenser water for drinking, but it's safe to drink for sure. The water is safe to drink. The other thing will be electricity, which I have mentioned. There are areas where they get more than 20 hours of electricity. There are other places they get about 16. It depends with the band A, band B, band C, band D. Let me show you here. And then the prices are also different depending on where you are living and how many hours of electricity you are getting. So for us, for example, we pay about 200 and something per unit, where there are people paying about 60 something per unit of NEPA. So the choice is yours, because I'm in band A. It means that we're getting 24 hours, well, not really 24 hours, but 20 to 24 hours of electricity, which reminds me I need to switch off because we have NEPA is back, yay! Electricity is tied to the rent in the place where you're living. That's why I say there are bands and different bands, because you don't want to go somewhere blindly and then you've paid rent for a whole year and then you're only getting NEPA for like just a few hours during the day, and then you have all these heavy appliances. And remember my dear, that you're going to be needing things like ACs, because that brings us to number 2, the weather. The weather is a little bit hot throughout the year, and there are periods when it's raining, maybe it gets a little bit chilly, but never cold, never really cold. Maybe, I don't know, people say it's cold but it never gets cold. So probably if you're moving from a place, like let me use my own home for example. If you are moving from Nairobi, Kenya, and you're coming to Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi is cold. Nairobi, you would be wearing sweaters throughout the year, but Nigeria is the opposite. The place is really hot, so you need fans, you need ACs, air conditioning. So air conditioning means that your electricity bill is going to go up, because you're going to need that thing like yesterday. Fans, and then also the unit charge per 1 unit of electricity was about, I think if you convert it to Kenyan money, is about 28 bob, which should be, it's supposed to be a little bit cheaper, given that these guys have oil. Anyway, if you're a fan of warm weather, you're going to love it. Like personally, I don't like the cold weather, I enjoy the warm weather, although sometimes it can be really hot. And if you have kids, you have young babies, so you know kids sweat a lot, especially when they are young. You can't cover them, they are crying, they just need to be bathed throughout the day. Like those periods are a little bit tough because they are sweating, but then again, remember they are children, so the weather is a little bit good for them, for lack of a better word. The other thing would be healthcare. So this is what I would personally say about the healthcare in Lagos, Nigeria. There are good hospitals, yes, but would I say that it beats what I have experienced before back at home in Kenya? No. I believe that the healthcare system in Kenya is way better than in Nigeria, and I stand to be corrected. If you have a valid argument, you can leave it down below. But I feel like in Nigeria has, like, they're exporting more of their talent out there, and we'll find that it's the few who are available, the few doctors who are there, or maybe someday you'd hear a doctor is maybe coming from wherever, and so they come here and then they also go back to their practice maybe in the UK, in America, because trust me, they have the best doctors out there, and most of them are from here. So this is because I've also had a fair share of my own negative experiences whilst in hospitals, and it's normal, you can experience all these things elsewhere, but I like the attention that you'd get vis-a-vis the attention I've been getting here. And then again, it's also very expensive. So if you want something which is good, like you want good healthcare, which is not easily available, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be very expensive, because you do, for example, the hospitals I go to, I do consultation. There is one that I visit, I pay $135 for just mere consultation. There's another one that I go to, I pay $75 just for consultation. So if you are coming here on a working contract, please be sure to make sure that in your contract they've given you a good insurance cover, which is going to be able to take you to all these good and at least above average facilities around. Because I mean, let's be honest, most of the rich guys here, they would go to maybe outside countries to deliver, they go there for treatment, so that should send like a signal somewhere. Vis-a-vis back at home, you'd find even our very own, maybe say politicians, whoever they are, they just go to maybe Nairobi hospital, they go to all these hospitals here and there. So that's about healthcare. And if you have children, you should also factor that in, because healthcare is very, and I repeat, healthcare is very important, especially for someone with children or without, or with someone, if you feel like you're the type who needs to be going and rushing to the hospital every now and then, yeah, you should think about it. But generally, it's been good it's been good. I've had my own fair share of disappointments, but we thank God because He's the key physician at the end of the day. It's God who heals. And no matter which doctor you have, if God has said you'll be healed, you'll be healed. Amen. Amen. Schools. I know if you're moving from let me just use Kenya as because that's where I've been and that's what I know, so that I don't end up second guessing. But if you are coming here, you would also, if you have children, remember you are most likely going to take your kids to international schools. International schools are there, men, but they are very, very expensive, and the slots are few, very few. Like you have to apply, like for my younger one right now, I have already applied for his school. He's due for school in January, but I applied this year, April. I had already applied because slots just go. And some of the schools, they just give families, like if, for example, now I have a son in a particular school, if I go there next, they would obviously give me a chance because I'm there, I'm a parent there, you know, do you understand? Yeah, so schools are there, but limited, and then again very, very expensive. We also the likes of British International School, we have American International School, we have many schools here, and they offer Montessori. They also have British curriculum, and then we have the American International School, which I believe they offer the American standard. That one I don't know about anything about it, but I know there are schools here in the island which are very good. And but are they expensive? Yes they are. Yes they are. They are very, very expensive. You cough out some money. So again, remember, if for example I'm talking to somebody who is here for the same reasons that my husband and I and family are, if you're coming here for work, remember you need to save some money, put the money in your pocket. You're not coming here to spend every single kobo you have and go back home without nothing in your pocket, like you have nothing. You don't plan on going home and not have saved. That's the exact basis of how we argue. That's where we were like before coming here. We were like, okay, at the end of the day, how much money are we going to save? We're going to save this much. So that's how we look at things. Insecurity. No, if you're coming to live in Lagos Island, you really need you really need not worry about security. Security is good. Like every few blocks is a police patrol car parked outside, and there's good security. Again, if you want to live in a very, very safe place, consider living in those places that I mentioned. Yeah, there are a few cases of insecurity, and here and there could be maybe some robbery and what have you, people breaking into other people's property, but this is a thing in many other places. Even back at home, it's also a common thing. Now that I'm only speaking about the Lagos Island area where I know about, I feel like security is way better here, and no need to panic for sure, because I mean, I've lived here for almost 3 years now, and I can say that it's not been bad. It's good, and you are also going to be okay. I do not know about the other states, but I know for sure there are people who are also battling Boko Haram wherever they are. There are instances, there are instances of people who have been bombed wherever and wherever. In any case, if you have concerns, you also have to be vigilant, and you also need to know where to go, where not to go. If you want, again, and I just learned that they offer security to people. I'm told they're called vigilantes, or I don't know what they're called, but there are some officers who can guard you. If you want to, you can hire them if you feel like your life is under threat. If you have money, you can live a very good life here. How much money do you really need to live in Lagos, Nigeria? Like, what is the actual cost of living in Lagos, Nigeria? I'm sure you that wants to move here would probably want to know, but that question I do not have an answer to, a precise answer. Only Dangote maybe could be able to give us that answer, because the way things are moving right now, there's one big challenge with living in Lagos, Nigeria. It is that the market prices the prices of good are never precise. Like, you see, like in Kenya, how you can hear, oh, the price of cooking flour has been increased by 5 Kenya shillings or by 10 Kenya shillings. The only thing that we know has increased in Nigeria would probably be fuel, and that is what people are mostly bothered and worried about. Now, between Kenya and Nigeria, the price of fuel in Nigeria is very cheap. As a matter of fact, when I came to Lagos, Nigeria, we used to pay like an equivalent of 33 Kenya shillings per liter before the new government came in, and then they removed the subsidy. So now we are paying about 1,200, I think. No, 1,100. Yeah. Yes, I think it's, yeah, 1,200. That's the new revised price of fuel in Lagos, Nigeria, as you are watching this video. So that's more or less than 100 Kenya shillings, by the way. So before we used to pay 33, now it's about 98, 99, somewhere there, which is a bit high, because that's not what people are used to. That's why you'd see people driving very big cars, because they can afford to fuel it and they have the money for it. Because here they are wealthy. People are wealthy here. The wealthy ones are wealthy, and the rich ones are rich. The middle class are also middle class. The real cost of living, it's not definite. You cannot budget and plan and say, this month I'm going to be spending 1 million naira. Next month I'm going to spend like 2 million naira. Remember, there are some places where electricity bills do come, especially for NEPA. If you're using the pay as you go. So every month you get a bill. There is the NEPA bill. You're also worried about food, groceries, and markets. Remember, if you want to be eating a Kenyan meal, remember, some of these things, to source them is a little bit expensive. Like normally buying something like skuma wiki, which is kale, by the way, I'd buy kale, like barely a bunch of kale. It would be very, very expensive, almost 2,000 naira, something which I would not even spend 10 Kenya shillings to buy back in Nairobi. So it's relative everywhere. Even if you move to, say, Canada, and you're in the UK, and you go to a Kenyan store, you go to a Nigerian store, you're gonna buy your food slightly expensive, because there are factors involved. And then something else would be maybe the over-reliance in exports. So you wouldn't know, like, say if you have a young child, you have a baby, like in Kenya, how we do it, if we have kids, you really want to know that one person who supplies fresh milk. Fresh milk is very, very hard to find, because these guys are used to the containerized milk, the powder one. They don't use the liquid one. In Kenya, milk is there in plenty, like a lot of milk. We have lots and lots of milk cows everywhere. Like even my mom right now, she has a lot, even in the fridge, which is probably giving it away. What I'm saying is, here, a packet of milk would probably be going for 4,500, 5,000 naira. That is 1 liter of milk, which is about 450 Kenya shillings or 400 Kenya shillings, which is way expensive, because in Kenya, a liter of milk would be 100 or 140 thereabouts, if the price is quite high. And that is the one you get from the supermarkets. You could be getting from your neighbor farmer there, and they are selling it, and then you have fresh milk for your children or fresh milk for yourself. Because in Kenya, we are tea people. We take tea seriously. And if you come from a cold weather, I mean, I get it, because what would they need the milk for? To be honest, what would they need the milk for? So some things, especially things which you are used to, they would be a little bit way costlier here. If you want to buy things like salmon that they import, if you are buying things like even arrowroot, I get, like, it's a little bit difficult. One time I went to ShopRite supermarket, and the price of tomatoes per kg was 10,000 naira per kg. That's like, you get 3 tomatoes like this, and you probably pay that 5,000 and something. Things like broccoli, things like cauliflower, things like just generally the prices of goods are very expensive. Diapers, pampers, they are highly expensive. So you need to think about such kind of things. For me, in a month, I spend quite a lot every month, because I have children. We are a big family, and once you go to the supermarket, you just find yourself going to the supermarket every now and then, going to buy things because things are very expensive. Things like meat, I don't buy meat from the market. I go to a Lebanese butchery at Ebano. That's where I go to buy my meat there, because I trust the quality of the meat that I'm buying, and I'd rather buy there. Like, you have your own preferences, and you want to try and maintain what you like, and what you don't like, don't do, because no one is forcing you to do what you want to do. So the cost of living here, I would say generally, is a little bit on the higher end, considering things like rent, considering things like electricity bills, which are pretty high. We have diesel, which is another big factor here, and it's highly used because people have generators. They're operating their gen on diesel, people running their businesses, and then they're also using that diesel. Like, everything is like one big curve like this, but at the end of it, you're gonna enjoy. The fashion industry is good. The culture is amazing. If you're a fan of good weather, you're going to love it. The people are good people. These guys are good people. They do have respect for one another and respect for other people. But in any country, you are also going to meet a few people who might not meet your standards of interaction, and which is probably fine. So no one is gonna force you to do none of those things. Generally, let me know if you have any other question. Drop it down below in the comment section, and I will be of your help. I would love to answer all questions you have about coming to Lagos, Nigeria. And if you want to rent a place, you can check online. Be wary of scams, be wary of fake agents, because apparently you can't view a house here without an agent. You're going to need an agent before you view any property. Like, people will not allow you to go inside their property without an agent, and you also need to factor like agent's fee. So if you're planning to coming to Lagos, Nigeria, either to visit or to live here, especially to live here, because this video, that's what majorly it's focusing on, consider those things at the month. If you feel like your contract is not making sense, I prefer you stay where you are if you have an alternative. If you do not have an alternative, it's a very nice place to live, and I would choose Nigeria over many other places any day. I would prefer to live in Nigeria over many other places, because I like it here. And one thing that I'll tell you for sure, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer them all. Otherwise, welcome to Lagos, Nigeria, and love it and enjoy it like I do. If you have a question, drop it down and I will be happy to answer it. So see you on the next video. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.